Ohio Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, Scott M. Gray, D.C., across from the Marion Center between TSC and Kroger. For further information, dial 740-386-6580. Also located on the net at goodbackbadback.com. That's goodbackbadback.com.
Scott Spears along with you on this Monday edition of The Exchange, joined by Charlie Evers, Marianne Michaels, Martha Douse-Manesi, and for the last week in time, Shannon O'Neill. Sad. We're all saddened by it, but
look how sad she looks.
Look at her, look how sad she looks.
I'll be back. It's just school. It's just my last year of school, temporary. I'll be back.
Okay. There were some things going on off camera there that I said that and got involved with, but we'll miss you. We're glad you're here this week, and don't think you're going to get out of any arguments because we're going to argue this week. I'm sure. I think we've gotten into an argument every week, so this will be no different, right, Marianne?
Right.
Exactly. And we've got some guests here who I'm going to tell you about in just a second. But before we do that, we need to head over to Charlie Evers and talk about fascinating facts.
Yes. I've been noticing motorcycles coming down Route 23 out of Michigan, and the guys are all wearing helmets. And I don't know. I kept wondering, why are these guys wearing helmets? You know, you got to be tough. Put a bandana on, man. Look at me. You know. And why? Well, Michigan has a law. You have to wear a helmet. You and your passenger. It doesn't matter how old or how young you are. Everyone wears a helmet in Michigan. And what is fascinating, you know how some of these motorcycles you see around here almost scream and they rip down the road? It's illegal in Michigan.
Is it?
They're illegal on any thoroughfare.
I live very close to a place that motorcycles go to and do their thing, and it can be loud sometimes.
Yes, it can. Especially those, well, they call them crotch rockets or pocket rockets. In Michigan, that's what they're called, pocket rockets, or mini choppers. But they go screaming down Whetstone River Road. It's really interesting. But anyhow, for the most part, though, motorcycle riders are rather courteous and good. But what always fascinates me is how tough they want to come across.
But they do a lot of good with poker runs.
Oh, yes.
A lot of good.
What is how is a poker run conducted?
I think you have to be sponsored by some degree by somebody, and then you go around and pick up things. Poker cards.
Oh, thieves. No.
Oh, Lord, Charlie, you're going to have 75 motorcycles on your front lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Like Pee Wee Herman, remember the movie?
I do.
Pee Wee knocked over all those motorcycles.
I thought in Ohio it was also a law to wear a helmet.
Only to a certain, I think within 1 year. And then after that, you throw it away.
Oh, I thought it was a very
they tried that,
imposed law.
The motorcycle lobby said, hey, that's unconstitutional.
Well, we're going to talk a lot about unconstitutional and constitutional today. But before we do that, I want to make sure I do this. Charlie, look behind you. Camera, look ahead.
What on earth is that?
Now zoom in on this black thing here. This black note. Everybody, that says enter if you dare.
Oh.
Now there's a skeleton hanging there. Now Charlie.
This isn't Halloween yet.
No, you've received several packages over the course of this show.
Oh.
You've made some enemies. And I believe this is the one that's going to take you out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because this one came this was hand-delivered by two guys with carts. They showed up.
Did they have bandanas?
They had bandanas. Yes, they did. But one was a shaved head, though. He told me, let me know.
Yeah.
But he said, this is not to be opened until Halloween Day on this show.
Wow.
But you will open that on Halloween Day, and then the next day, lights out.
Yeah.
All over.
I can hardly wait.
What do you think's in there, Charlie?
I have no idea.
And it's sitting right behind you. Oh, the
I've
intrigue.
dealt with things like this before, but it was an outhouse.
Really?
Yes.
Well, don't go in there while the camera's off of you.
I
We don't
one
need
time put an outhouse on the radio station front lawn, and almost got canned over that one.
Nobody has a sense of humor. No sense of humor. Marianne, words of wisdom for this Monday.
This is from Emily Dickinson. She's a poet. And this is what she says. Opinion is a very flitting thing, but truth outlasts the sun. If then we cannot have them both, possess the oldest. And of course that's truth. Truth should win out in everything.
We certainly
I like
hope
that.
so. We certainly hope so. And I want to ask Martha, while we've got Martha Dowse today. Martha, you're getting very close to being Grand Marshal of this year's Popcorn Parade. Are you excited? Is the tension mounting?
Are you kidding? I can't wait.
You've got high excitement for that, Martha. Do you know what you're going to wear that day for all the fashion people?
I sure do.
Tell us what you'll wear.
I'm going to have black sequins.
And
Black sequins. Now that's gone some.
Yes.
And I got a crown to wear. And I've got a boa to wear.
I've always said Martha Dowse without a boa. Oh, it's going to be big.
Blue one?
Black.
Black boa with the black seat. That's going to be a day. That's going to be a photo op to get your picture taken with Martha Dowse. Now, before we go any further in the program, I do want to introduce our guests, Mary Cook and Judy O'Hare. Thank you both for coming in today. Now, members of the Marion Tea Party. Now, that's a very interesting thing. We've talked about that several times on this show on a national level, and I figure let's get into it on the local level. Now, Mary or Judy, whoever wants to go first, tell me why you're involved with the Tea Party and what the Marion Tea Party wants exactly.
Okay. We would like to have educated voters. I think that the Marion County Tea Party is all about educating the public. We have had candidates night. We've sponsored that, which we will do again, so that everybody has an opportunity to ask the candidates their views. We also, I think most people don't realize that last year we supplied probably around 2,000 copies of the Constitution to all the high schools in the county.
It was to the social study classes.
Except for the Grant Middle Schools. They wanted them for the entire middle school, so they got 1,100 copies. We do this at our expense, and when we raise money, it is for educational things. So that's what we're about.
Now, my question would be, what is wrong, I guess, with the Republican and Democratic parties in town that the Tea Party needed to be formed in Marion? What was the problem with them?
Okay, we're not a party. We're a movement. And that's what people don't understand. We're not
So it's not a Tea Party?
We're not a third party.
Okay.
We are a grassroots movement. And because politicians have stopped listening to the people, we decided that the people needed to have a voice.
So do you back candidates in elections?
We don't endorse anybody.
Don't endorse anybody.
And our membership includes Democrats, teachers, union people, and libertarians. We are nonpartisan. We do not endorse.
Now, when it comes to, as you say, candidates night, for years here in Marion, the most popular and I think well-respected candidates night has been held by the League of Women Voters. Is yours different from that, and why a need for yours when that has been going on?
Well, the reason ours is different, we invited all the candidates, but the Democratic candidates never show up to ours, and we have it at Ohio State. So I don't know.
Now,
We always invite them to everything, but they don't participate.
now if you have Democratic and Republican members,
Yes, we do.
why would you feel that the Democrats, particularly in office, would not show up as to where the Republicans would?
Because we are conservative.
Okay, so you do have a tendency toward one party.
No, we have a tendency towards conservatives. So if it is a Democrat who is conservative, they are welcome. And we will support Democrats if they're conservative
Now,
and stick to what we perceive as our values.
now values. Now that's an interesting word. Now what are the Tea Party movement values?
A balanced budget, candidates who don't just say what they can to get your vote and then forget about you later, who will sell themselves to the lobbyists, and unions, and corporations. We want statesmen, not professional politicians.
Being on, Mary, I want to get you in here. Being here today, what would you say to the Democratic candidates? Because obviously you don't want them to be frightened to come. What could you ease their mind? How could you ease their mind to know that it's okay to come to a candidates' night?
Well, one of the things that we had planned to do, which we haven't done, and I don't know if you know about the Abigail Adams project, it doesn't look at political parties. In fact, you don't even identify yourself as what political party, but candidates fill out a questionnaire. And then the public can look at those, and if the candidate shares their values, then of course they'll get their support. Why wouldn't Democrats want to expose themselves to that type of thinking?
I think, and I'm just speaking, now I'm speaking for them because maybe they have a different answer, but my opinion would be that when the League of Women Voters throws a candidates' night or a debate, as it's framed sometimes, the Democrats and the Republicans feel like that's common ground. When a Tea Party movement throws a candidates' night, they know that you're from a conservative background, and just by nature, most Democrats are liberal.
Right.
Right. Right. But I guess that would be my answer why they don't come and why they don't feel that it probably is equal footing for them.
But you have to understand that we're not a subsidiary of the Republican Party either. We don't.
Judy, what do you have to say about this?
Well, why wouldn't they want to get their message out to the Republican Party? I mean, why just limit their message to the people that believe what they believe? Why wouldn't, if they have a message, why wouldn't they want the conservatives to hear that message also? Why? I don't know.
Well, I guess it would be the same notion as if the Democratic committee in town threw a candidates' night. I don't know how many Republicans would show up, because you do feel that maybe they're going to come after you a little harder because you are the antithesis of what they believe in.
But they don't invite us.
Well, I don't know that they have one, is what I'm saying. I think an impartial group, which is what I think the League of Women Voters are, they would never say they were conservative. They would never say they were liberal. They just open it wide up and go. When a group says going in that we are conservative, even though we're not affiliated with the Republican Party, a Democrat who has a liberal point of view probably thinks they're not going to get a fair shake. My question would be, who represents the audience in this, and who asks the questions? Do you have a moderator?
Yes, Nick Nolte has moderated for us.
Okay. And does he express his political backing?
Nope. He looks at questions from the audience and selects.
So that's how it's done. But the audience, is the audience comprised of Tea Party are members, or is it comprised of a lot of Marion citizens? What is the average attendance, I guess, is what I'm saying?
What do you think we have?
I mean, between 50 and 75, and it comes from everybody. It comes from members, it comes from interested citizens that are wanting to hear what the candidates have to say on.
Now, how did your group, and I'm going to let Marianne and Charlie in a second, how did your group choose who the moderator was going to be? Because I think that's interesting.
Well, it was recommended, he was recommended as somebody that has moderated for different, and I know he does for the League of Women Voters, so that's how we happened to call him, because we wanted somebody with some experience with keeping the audience engaged
Well,
in the questions
And on point.
and on point.
Right. Now, if I've never been to one of these, I admit that. If I would come to one of these voters' nights thrown by the Tea Party movement, and liberal issues were brought up, would the crowd react happily to those, or is it a very pro-conservative crowd?
You know, there is no clapping, no hissing, no booing. We just listen. There isn't. There is
Okay.
no response from the audience.
Okay. Marianne, go ahead.
Well, that kind of seems unusual. I guess I'm thinking in terms of when I see Tea Party members on television, they're very vocal, and the Tea Party
Well, that's
is
what-
very much involved with the Republican candidates.
But that's a rally. What you see on TV when you see Tea Party candidates, it's usually a rally. They're there to be vocal and with their signs.
Well, but there are also other speakers. I've seen them with other gatherings, not just rallies. I've seen them, when Democrats are talking or when Republicans are talking. And they were very, very vocal, and they're definitely behind the Republican cause.
No, they're behind the Tea Party conservatives.
Well, we disagree on that, I'm afraid.
Charlie, what do you make of the whole Tea Party movement?
I've often wondered, the original Tea Party in Boston Harbor, where they threw the tea overboard, were those people conservatives or liberals, or what were they? What was their movement?
Taxed enough already.
Yeah,
It was
That's
because
what it stands for. Taxed
Okay.
enough
the
already.
colonists were against...
they were strictly colonists.
colonists
They weren't of any
against-
particular...
Oh, no, they were colonists who were upset with being...
were they successful?
Yes, they were successful. That's what started the Revolutionary War. That's right.
Okay.
They were against the king. They
But
were...
where's the tea today? Yes, we're taxed enough today. But, one thing that they keep saying about Obama, Hannity and all, you won't be able to live because taxes are going to be... I haven't seen a tax rate go up yet on anything I do. In fact, I just bought a car at 3.9% interest. I have a whole my life never was able to do that. So when do taxes go up?
Well, the Bush taxes were, of course, eliminated. The tax.
Yes.
And he did the tax breaks.
But, I hear so much about raising taxes. What taxes have been raised? But that's not part of your agenda anyhow. I'm just a curious person.
Well, okay, let's say this. I guess this is my thing about having a candidates night and then saying that the Democratic candidates won't show. Have any of them ever shown? Any?
Well, we did have, recently we invited the mayor and his opponent, Dr. Gilsdorf, come, and we had about 35 people show up at the chamber. And by the way, we rent that space so that we aren't beholden to use the Republican Party headquarters.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, and so they came, both of them did, and answered questions from the group.
Oh, so Democrats have came.
Just the mayor so far.
Well, that's a pretty good...
Mary, that wasn't
Okay.
completely
okay.
correct. They did come in the spring. We did a candidates
Oh,
night
that's
for all of the
okay.
candidates for
All right, I
the
stand
primary
corrected.
election.
Yeah, I stand corrected.
And
They certainly did.
several of the Democrats came.
Yeah, from that
Why-
were running for.
Why would you
council.
have one since the League of Women Voters has traditionally done that year after year after year? Why would the Tea Party come in and do one of their own?
Well, we found that our question and answers were, it
Different.
was handled differently.
In what way?
People liked that. Because the questions were, they were screened with the League of Women Voters. People have said that they have turned in questions, they were screened and weren't asked. And we accept all questions. We don't screen the questions. So we felt we wanted to do something where the questions weren't screened.
And they
And
only.
they do have to stay on point. They can't just...
Right. And the limitation is however we can get in that time period.
So and if I'm stating this wrong, say so. So you feel, the Tea Party movement feels that maybe the League of Women Voters were they beholden to any one person, or were they just not having enough time to get every question in? That's what I'm kind of confused on
I don't
here.
know. We don't
And then
know.
maybe there were repetitive questions, and those were eliminated. I mean, I'm not a member of that group, so I can't
No.
say, but I have been a person to help moderate it as a reporter, when I was a reporter.
Well, I just find it kind of interesting, and we're running out of time, so we're going to come back and discuss this more on Tuesday, because we haven't done anything nationally, and we want to be more locally. But it's interesting to me that you would choose the same moderator that the League of Women Voters has, when you feel that maybe they're not getting it done, and the people running that, or people in your group feel that some questions were screened, so on and so forth. Maybe it would behoove to have a moderator that everybody agrees on, and so on and so forth. Then maybe the Democrats would show up, because my last question would be, why would they show up for the first one, all the Democrats, and then all of them would not show up for future ones?
Because of the same thing that we are labeled as radicals or terrorists. People don't understand who the Tea Party are. They are. We are labeled, and I think that they have just decided that they'll go with the label without trying to find out who we really are.
Who was that politician that said you're terrorists?
Several.
Was that the governor of Texas? Or who was it? No,
it wouldn't be the governor of
Was it
Texas.
Biden?
Yes, Biden agreed
Okay.
that we were terrorists.
I tell you what, we're going to come back, talk a little bit about national politics, be more in the local politics. But two things we need to get done on this Monday. Shannon, as we said, and we're going to get Shannon in on this conversation on Tuesday, as we said, is leaving at the end of this week to go back to college. We wish her all the best. But we do have a bit of footage here. I don't know what year this is. It's young Shannon, and it's going to be hard to make her out, but she's on the left in the green. She's the first one to start dancing in this footage, and she's turning beet red. Go ahead, play the footage. Let's see this. This is going to be classic. Shot of Shannon's face. Wasn't that wonderful? That was just about as good as it gets.
Great, I have 8 years.
And
Thank you, Scott.
and Shannon's going to sing live in the studio twice this week as the week goes on, so we're going to have a lot of fun there. As we get out of here on a Monday, we have a new segment, the Daily Quizzer, and the Daily Quizzer is brought to you by O'Michael's Fish and Chips, 1116 Mount Vernon Avenue, right here in Marion. Telephone number 725-3474. If you're lucky enough to be the first person to answer today's Quizzer question correct on the Exchange Marion's Facebook page, you'll receive a free fish dinner for one at O'Michael's Fish and Chips. Hey, it's delicious.
It is good. I've been there several times.
And it's not just fish. You get a roll, you get potato wedges. Very nice.
Fish is fresh.
Here is the Quizzer question today. Name the unlikely media mogul who owned World Championship Wrestling. The unlikely media mogul who owned World Championship Wrestling. Who was that, Charlie?
Who was that guy that was very vocal? He'd stand in the ring and he has a wife in politics.
Vince McMahon.
Yeah, Vince.
It's a good guess. Mary Ann?
I have no idea.
None at all? Martha, you got a guess on this one?
No.
Shannon, who won World Championship Wrestling? Media mogul.
What about Murdoch?
Murdoch's a good guess. Any guesses?
I have no idea.
Media mogul. Nobody knows this one. I thought this would be a pretty easy one. We'll get the answer at the top of tomorrow's program. More with the Tea Party tomorrow. All kinds of good stuff coming up this week on The Exchange. See you then.